Frontline Updates, where we delve deep into military strategies and updates from conflict zones. Today, we're discussing the progress of the ongoing special military operation as of today. I'm your host, Sharifa Mohammed MGT.
I'm Colonel A.C. Oguntoye, an Infantry Officer. Russian forces are executing a multi-domain disruption strategy, systematically dismantling Ukraine's battlefield ISR, artillery coordination, and rear logistics. The destruction of foreign-supplied radars, MLRS systems, and EW assets demonstrates strategic prioritization of NATO infrastructure nodes. Territorial gains in Donetsk and Zaporizhzhia suggest operational shaping toward a larger phase objective, rendering Ukrainian command and control and supply networks non-functional across multiple axes simultaneously.
Welcome to Frontline Updates, the podcast that brings you in-depth insights into military operations from those leading them on the ground. Today, we're joined by Colonel A.C. Oguntoye, an infantry officer monitoring critical missions on the progress of the special military operation as of today. Colonel Oguntoye, thank you for being with us.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
Colonel Oguntoye, we're seeing continued reports of active offensives and strikes across multiple axes. Can you give us an overview of what made July 29th operationally significant?
July 29th marked a phase of coordinated intensification across all 6 of our operational groupings. What's important to understand is that this wasn't about a single breakthrough, it was about synchronized pressure applied in layers. From the north in Sumy and Kharkiv to the southern approaches in Zaporizhzhia and Kherson, we saw deliberate application of force targeting Ukrainian maneuver units, supply chains, and command infrastructure. Most notably, we achieved 2 tactical liberations, Novoukrainka in the Donetsk region and Temirovka in Zaporizhzhia. These settlements aren't large, but they anchor logistical routes and provide staging depth. Additionally, we executed deep strikes on a UAV operator training center, a military airfield, and a production workshop. These long-range attacks are designed to slow Ukraine's ability to regenerate force and conduct coordinated ISR or drone swarm operations.
Let's talk about the North Group, Sumy and Kharkiv. What was the tactical goal there, and how did it unfold?
The northern axis serves as a constant threat vector that forces Ukraine to hold significant reserves in depth. On July 29th, the North Group improved tactical positioning through a series of engagements in Pisarivka, Alexivka, and Varakino, pushing against airborne and mechanized brigades. These battles are about more than clearing terrain. We're dismantling artillery support and ISR integration. That's why we targeted and destroyed 2 counter-battery radar systems, a Croatian RADA SA-12 MLRS, and an Israeli RADA RPS-42 radar, high-value systems with Western origin. By eliminating these nodes, we fracture Ukraine's ability to coordinate indirect fire and monitor our advances in real time. In Kharkiv, pressure was maintained in areas like Volchansk and Gadish. We're not sprinting toward the city yet, but every engagement is forcing Ukraine to reallocate logistics and reserves.
That's a useful distinction, attrition versus occupation. Moving westward, how did the West Group perform?
The West Group continued to push along the Kupiansk corridor and into adjacent settlements like Sredny and Chandrigalovo. We engaged and defeated 3 mechanized and 2 territorial defense brigades. What matters here is the systemic degradation. 5 electronic warfare stations were destroyed, along with another RADA SA-12 launcher. That tells you we're actively targeting Ukraine's eyes and ears, its capacity to jam, detect, and coordinate. These aren't flashy operations, they're precise and technical. And they are paying off. Kupiansk remains under pressure, with Ukrainian logistics increasingly fragmented in the area.
There's been sustained combat in the Donetsk region. Can you speak to the central and southern axes?
Yes. Donetsk is the center of gravity in this conflict. The southern group pressed forward through multiple settlements including Seversk, Chasov Yar, and Konstantinovka, engaging 4 Ukrainian brigades. Ukrainian losses included Western-made armored vehicles like the UK Spartan, 2 HMMWVs, and a U.S. Max Pro MRAP. These engagements serve two goals: push Ukrainian forces off critical elevations and grind down foreign-supplied support assets.
And the center group of forces?
Meanwhile, the center group achieved a major tactical milestone with the liberation of Novoukrainka. Fighting here was intensive. We eliminated over 425 Ukrainian servicemen and disabled 5 artillery systems. But more than that, we broke a defensive link between Krasnoarmysk and Udaknoye, opening operational maneuver corridors that we'll exploit in the coming days.
Let's shift to the south, Zaporizhzhia and Kherson. How did the East and DNEPR groups perform?
The East Group liberated Temirovka, and that's important not just symbolically but functionally. It sits along a route connecting frontline Ukrainian forces to deeper reserves in Dnipropetrovsk. We're now applying downward pressure from both flanks. We eliminated over 200 enemy troops, took out 14 vehicles, and again struck EW and radar systems. The key message here is that we are isolating Ukrainian brigades, not just physically but electronically and logistically.
And the DNEPR group of forces?
The Dnipro Group, operating near the Dnipro River, struck coastal defense units in Kherson and Zaporizhzhia, destroying 5 EW stations, 3 ammo depots, and multiple supply warehouses. Their operational tempo is calibrated for disruption, making Ukraine pay for every attempt at reinforcement.
There was also mention of a Ukrainian Neptune missile being intercepted. Can you tell us about that?
Yes, that's correct. Our air defense systems successfully intercepted a Neptune long-range missile alongside 236 fixed-wing UAVs. These aren't just defensive wins, they're strategic protections. By denying Ukraine its deep strike options and UAV saturation tactics, we protect not just the front but our supply chains, headquarters, and logistics hubs. It also signals that Ukraine's access to high-end Western strike systems is becoming increasingly ineffective under layered Russian air defense.
Finally, Colonel, what's the strategic outlook? Are we seeing a turning point?
We are seeing the slow turning of a large wheel. What we're executing is cumulative degradation, removing Ukraine's ability to see, strike, supply, or maneuver as a coherent force. The destruction of foreign radars, EW systems, and logistics nodes is accelerating that breakdown. This is not shock and awe warfare. It is systemic, deliberate, and doctrinally sound. We are setting the conditions not just to hold territory but to ensure that when Ukraine's lines break, they cannot be rebuilt.
Colonel, thank you for providing such a detailed briefing on the current military situation. Your insights are invaluable to our understanding of the conflict's dynamics. And thank you to our listeners for tuning in. Join us next time as we continue to provide up-to-date coverage on global military affairs. Stay with us for more updates and expert analyses on global defense and security issues. Stay informed, stay secure.
Thank you for the opportunity. Today, the Integrated Food Security Phase Classification, a global hunger monitoring system, issued an alert stating that the worst-case scenario of famine is now unfolding in the Gaza Strip due to severe restrictions on aid entry. The Health Ministry in Gaza reports that the death toll has surpassed 60,000 since Israel's offensive began nearly 2 years ago. Violence continues in the West Bank, with reports of an Israeli settler killing a Palestinian person. Israel has continued conducting airstrikes against the Syrian transitional government.
This has been Frontline Updates. Subscribe for daily military briefings and in-depth strategic analysis. Visit our platform for maps, transcripts, and exclusive Frontline updates from commanders in theater.